What is childless not by choice, and how does that differ from somebody being child-free?
Childless not by choice, it wasn't a choice, versus child-free, but the person wanted to have a child and wasn't able to have a child. That can be like us because, they had a infant loss, pregnancy loss, or something like that. Or, there's a million different paths to becoming childless, not by choice. I have some clients who developed chronic health things in their, like when they were 19, 20, for example, and were never able to have a child because their body, basically, they couldn't even try to have a child. Other people, similar to part of my story, but didn't meet, their husband at 39, was they just never found the right partner. Or they were in a partnership that was abusive, and they thought, I'd love to have a child, but I'm taking contraception because I can't bring a child into this relationship and have them suffer the way that I'm suffering or whatever. Financial reasons, there's a million different reasons as to why people, don't have, so they might want to have children, but they can't afford to have children, they can't afford to have fertility treatments. But on one scale or another, the person wanted to have a child and wasn't able to have a child. So, that's the difference. Whereas somebody who's child free is then somebody who has made a choice at their own will not to have children. Now, the child-free people will shoot me down as I say this, so this definitely doesn't apply to everybody. But sometimes people convert from being child-free to childless at a later age. So, for example, I have people who maybe are in their 60s, 50s, 60s, who then never tried to have a child, but then discover it was because of their childhood traumas that they never wanted to have a child. And once, they go into therapy and they deal with those childhood traumas, they're like, shit, I missed out on having children. This would have been a beautiful gift. So it's really, there's a very black and white piece, and then there's a piece in the centre where, it's then, I have some friends, for example, who I found it super weird because, I've been working on this for 5 years and yet we haven't really had conversations around it. And finally I was like, I find it really weird that I have deep conversations with people about this all the time and we haven't chatted about it, and she's like, yeah, she's really on the border between both of them. She just never found the right person. She would have liked to have a child, but it wasn't the whole thing for her, sort of type thing. So it was then, so she's really, in that grey area between the two.